Hey everybody, welcome to episode 38. This episode I'm going to talk about, it's a broad topic, I'm going to cover it broadly of one topic, West Coast Avengers, the comic book, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the action figures as well, because there's a new set coming out in Marvel Legends, but I'll get to that at the end. Um, so in the 80s, like I said, the Avengers really weren't that hot, at least in my opinion. And I don't, like I said, most of my friends or people that I know that were into comic books at the time, nobody was really following the Avengers. However, there was the West Coast Avengers, and it started more or less right about the time that I started collecting comic books. Um, I think it started in 80. I think the first 4-issue limited series did start in 84. I had it eventually, but I didn't get the 4-issue limited series right off the bat. I picked up on issue, I want to say it was in the 1 through 10 somewhere, and I can't specifically place where it is because I remember getting a few of them kind of all at the same time. Um, Currently, I own not all of the run. But I own a pretty fair amount. I own a few key issues. I've got issue number 1. Let me hold these up. I like to get a what do you call it, a cover image on that. But here's issue number 1, and this is a newsstand copy. Like I said, if you got some newsstands, some direct market copies. I'm pretty sure I acquired number 1 either through store Troy Stamp and Coin. It could even have been Kay's Book Exchange. I know a specific story involving West Coast Avengers and Kay's Book Exchange, and this would probably be 87-ish, right around there. Maybe even 88, somewhere in my freshman year of high school. I remember I had a few West Coast Avengers, but I didn't have I had holes in it, and I didn't have a solid run. And it was just, I kind of bopped back and forth of what was hot at the time, or what I thought was hot, or what I liked. And I said, oh, let me go fill up some of my holes of West Coast Avengers. So I made a list of all the issues I was missing. And that was up to, I want to say, I'm just double checking here because there's an issue I want to talk about. Okay, I think it was on issue 40, somewhere around there. Maybe probably in the 30s, most likely. It could even have been in the 20s. No, I think it was in the 20s. The reason I say that is because there's another key issue I wanted to talk about. Well, actually, let me start there. So probably the first issue I picked up of West Coast Avengers was probably in the 10s, or sorry, it might have been issue 3. I think it might have been issue 3. It was either 3 or it could have been issue 5. I've got a couple of copies of a few of these. It might have been issue 5. And again, and I kind of picked them up here and there. If the cover was kind of weak, I didn't really get it. And then it wasn't until probably, let's see here, probably issue, once I acquired the 25th anniversary issue, and this one came in those multi-packs that Kmart had, and I believe they were second printings. I think I did eventually pick up a first printing. I think it was even a newsstand copy, but I know all the ones that they put in those multi-packs from Kmart were second printings. And again, that was 1986, and that's right around the time that all the 25th anniversary issues came out. I mean, this was one of the ones I picked up in there. So after I picked that one up, I kind of stuck with it. 12, 13. I know one thing that kind of caught my eye, I think, in the comic, obviously, is when Mockingbird ended up getting the new costume with the legs. You know, her original costume with the the full bodysuit. It was pretty cool, but when she had the legs going, that's when I really started taking a shine to her. Um, I mean, what's her face? Tigra's cool. I'm not really into furry things. I'm not into furries specifically, and I'm not really into like cat girls. I don't really care about that. I'm not really a cat person to begin with. I'm a dog person. So furry, anthropomorphic characters, even dog characters, even anything. But I mean, outside of that, she doesn't really look like a furry. She looks like a sexy lady in a swimsuit with who just happens to have stripes on her. And they would draw her in various degrees of furriness. A lot of times they didn't even draw the fur. It was just pretty much just a girl in a bathing suit. Gave her some fangs, some claws, threw a tail on her, and called it a day. But I liked her as well. Probably as far as the dudes in the comic, probably my favorite. I mean, I really like Hawkeye. I thought he really looked cool, and I liked the character. I liked this personality. What's his face? Of course, this isn't the comic that solidified my love of the Silver Centurion Iron Man, but definitely, probably my favorite character in there was Silver Centurion Iron Man, specifically that armor. I know, Rhodes was in the yellow golden armor in the limited series, but when they kicked off the regular series, it was pretty much primarily, the Silver Centurion. Didn't care much for Power Man, or Wonder Man, not Power Man, Wonder Man. It was okay. Wasn't huge into him. I would say probably more Hawkeye, Iron Man, and then of course Mockingbird, and then Tigra. Scarlet Witch was in the comic for a while too, and I really liked Scarlet Witch. I also really liked. That was a good issue with the costume there. I've got 2 copies of that, and they're both. One must be a second printing because they've got they're very distinctly colored differently. Unless this one's just sun faded, which I don't. It doesn't look like it's sun faded. It looks more of it's actually colored differently. So I believe that this one might be the second print. I have to crack it open to see. I'm not really concerned about that right now, but yeah. So I would say, that's when I kind of kicked off of the West Coast Avengers. Of course, and then when that happened, like I said, I made a list of issues I was missing, and I took them to, I gave it to my mom. My mom worked kind of near Kay's, kind of, sort of, kind of. So it wasn't really a big stretch for her to, when she got out of work, just to go over, a next block pretty much to Kay's. And I would have Kay hold everything out for me. So I, we didn't have email back then. We didn't have cell phones to take pictures of anything. So I literally called Kay up on the phone and told her, who I was, and she knew who I was. And I said, hey, I'm looking for West Coast Avengers issues. And she says, I think I have a lot of them. So I just rattled off to her, and she patiently took down the numbers, and it was probably 20 comics, 25 comics that I needed. And she wrote them all down. I said, I'm going to send my mom there this afternoon and have her pick them up. And so she said, all right. She goes, I can get those together by then. So my mom got out at 5. So she went over there and she picked up, I told my mom too. I said, Mom, if I can get about $25-ish, and I think I gave her the money for it. Or I think I gave her a 20, and then she said she'd pick up the rest. And so yeah, she went over, and I was, anxiously waiting these comics, and then, she got home around 5:30, 5:45, and then, I checked out to see what she got, what I was missing, and I would say probably, let's just say hypothetically I had 25 comics on the list. I probably got all of them but 2, or all of them but 3 maybe. So I had pretty much filled up all my holes in the West Coast Avengers, and Kay giving me all a cover price. Most of them were 75 cents, I believe. Yeah, most of them. I know, like, the issue number 1 was $1.25, but I don't think they raised it to 85. I think they went to 85 cents for a very brief period of time, and then they went to $1. I think they're still 75 cents for a while. So yeah, I got them all at 75 cents. So I mean, it's probably was less than. Yeah, it's probably right around $20 or so. I can't remember what the total bill was on it. But yeah, so I really like the West Coast Avengers. I'm going to go to issue 1 here. I'm going to switch over to the CBR of it. And this one comes from the Omnibus. I'm sorry, not the Omnibus, the Epic Collection. So let me blow it up to. Oops. I know you can see that. I just like that you can see it better, see the comic better. Yeah, there's the cover to it. I'm going to blow it back up. Some of the splash pages are hard to get in everything on a splash page. But first thing right off the bat I wanted to point out was the team. So Englehart wrote primarily most of them, and Al Milgrom did most of the pencils. And I'm assuming it's pencils because I don't think there's a listing ever in any of the West Coast Avengers that lists him as pencils. It always listed him as breakdowns. And finishers, Joe Sinnott here. There's various finishers. And, most of the time it's a penciler and an inker. Sometimes they'll put down, because some people will just break down the comic pretty loosely, and then the finisher might go in and tighten up the pencils a bit himself or herself, and then end up inking them. So I don't know if that's the case in this. I think what it is Al Milgrom laid it down pretty simple without getting too tight, and then Sinnott or any of the other inkers just went straight to inks, but would do throw in all the flourishes and stuff that and embellish it more so as they inked it. Yeah, that's just my assumption. Like a good example is like maybe this background up here was probably open. And then they went in and did this little pattern here as texture to kind of fill that in. I'm assuming, it all depends on the inker. Sinnott's a really good inker. But, a lot of feathering. And that's the thing that I liked about L. Milgram's style is, a lot of people don't like Milgrom. They think he's crap. They think he's simple. They think he's, he gets a lot of crap for his work, and I personally think that's kind of bullshit. I mean, he's really good. He's a solid house-style Marvel artist who draws the Marvel way, and he doesn't. All the characters he lays down just as they're on model almost every single time, and on model of a certain specific time period, and which is can basically is carryover from the Bronze Age, because these are into the first part of the modern age. And he does have some wonky drawings here and there. Who doesn't? Everybody does. But I think by and large his stuff's pretty tight. And then depending on the inker on top of it, if they're going to do more of a finished work, they're probably going to throw in all of their feathered lines and stuff. But I think it's a simple, straightforward version of the comic. It's how it's not that, this isn't rocket science. I mean, you've got a group of superheroes, you've got a lair or a mansion that they live in, so you're drawing inside stuff, backgrounds, they're on the West Coast, so very beachy, they've got a lot of that, a lot of this blue background because it's always sunny, that kind of thing. It's straightforward comic book art of that time, and I think it looks amazing. Are there artists that are better? Yes. I'm going to talk one particular works on this, and he does. His comics look better than Al Milgram's, but for the most part, Milgrom was on this book for most of the time that it was out, and with various finishers, which most of them are inkers, and Yeah, I think he did a great job. I think it looks really good. I mean, he really does her well. He does, he does all the guy characters really well. Again, I'm not going into the story of this comic, but I'm just flipping through here just to show you, uh, the art. But yeah, I mean, Silver Centurion that Silver Centurion Iron Man is spot on. Look at that. He even gets it's a little extravagant. I don't see her tail though, but he gets a little extravagant with Tigra that she's running away there. Self-indulgence, more like it. Self-indulgent, hope it gets past the editor. But hey, that sells. I zeroed in on it right away. I'm sure a lot of other people did too. Ultra is this drawing great of Ultron? No, it's not great, but I know who it is, and it's not so wildly off model that I don't know who it is. Or so heavily stylized that it really is distracting. It's just an okay drawing on a splash page. It's an okay drawing of Ultron. It's not terrible. It's not great either. Ultron's one of those characters that he's not hard to draw, but he's hard to draw consistent. And it's in the afternoon. Here we go again. I mean, he's let's just put it, he's tricky to draw. Let's put it that way. He's got there's what's her face, Janet Wasp. She's over here. It's a good drawing of her. I think it looks great face, great hair. That's probably my favorite costume she ever wears, is the black and yellow one. Kind of have it purplish here, and she doesn't have the full part of it on, but I think she puts on the full thing. Yeah, it's great. I mean, great establishing shots. I mean, there's a better Ultron right there. I think for the most part you can't complain. I mean, it's straight up comics, Marvel of the 80s, and I think it looks spot on. And that's what drew me to it. I really liked that look. I really liked that house style of Marvel. I still do. I still wish it would come back, and I know it won't. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like the house issue, house style for Marvel, and they don't like house styles in general. I think I'm more of a Jim Shooter kind of guy. Every time I hear stories about Shooter, and everything that he, does, I realize, wow, I really think like Shooter does. I mean, I would probably, if I was in his shoes, I would be cracking the whip. I would be a tyrant as well. I'd want things how I want them, and I want them consistent, and I want them to follow a house style, and I don't want much deviation unless it's a special event, special issue, something where you can give the artist time to, so he can become self-indulgent. But I think on a monthly series book, I don't think that's the time to be self-indulgent. I think it's time to stick, pretty closely to the house style, whatever that house style may be. I mean, it might be, let's say your house style is cartoon style. That's fine. Just stick to the cartoon style. Don't go radically hyper-realistic and then jump back, and then only one guy does cartoon style, and it just kind of loses its thing. I don't like a heavily cartoon style. I don't like artsy comics. I just don't like them. I don't mind elements, basically, like art new. I don't mind artistic elements that adhere to, whatever fine art principle you want to come up with, or whatever expressionism, point of view you want to come at it. But for the most part, it's commercial illustrations, and they should be done exactly right, and they should be on model. Somebody draws a bad panel, draws a bad, some bad anatomy. If you catch it in time, get the penciler. If he's willing to do it, he should be at least take another pass at it, or kind of just fix things up as you go. If you're working 100% digital, there's no excuse. I mean, you can just trace right over your character, or you can draw your trace right over your character, throw it on a different layer. You know, if you didn't put it on a different layer originally, you know, fix it, and then, you know, shoot it back through and merge it back through into the right, you know, fix up where, you know, any overlap is, and you can fix a character. You know, I do it all the time. I get tunnel vision. I start drawing, and I'm like, wow, that head is way too big. I loop the head with a magic lasso, and I shrink it down. You know, the eyes are too far apart. Bring the eyes together. You know, you could do that stuff digitally. Now, obviously, it's harder to do when they're working traditionally back then. But, you know, so there's a little bit more, you have to be more forgiving with artists if, you know, to get a panel right. But if they're drawing it, I would say 80% consistently throughout the book, 20% of wonky panels I could live with, as long as they're adhering to the style, you know. And that's not to say I mean, you're hiring somebody. If it's not their book, you know, it's you being the publisher, you know, you being the editor-in-chief. They're your comics, your characters, your IP, your brand, whatever. And you're hiring an artist. I use that in quotations because I'm not hiring you to be an artist per se. I'm hiring you to illustrate a comic book, and I want you, because the other artist either left for another book, got fired, whatever the case may be, that they're not on it anymore. You know, if that other artist was bad, then I'm hoping that the new artist I'm hiring does a better job, but I still want them to continue with what was good on it. You know, if they have to do a total overhaul and fix something, that's fine. But I think if everybody is drawing pretty close to the same house style, I don't think there's really any reason for like a total overhaul. You know, I think that most of them could just come in and just pick up where the other person left off pretty seamlessly and take it in. I mean, I'm going to show you an example of somebody who picks up where the other artist, you know, left off. I don't know if it's Milgram specifically, but the new artist came in, and obviously the new artist that came in is a powerhouse, and it just, you know, knocked it out of the park without taking away that much from what the comic originally had. So I'll stop talking about that. So what are we at? 20 minutes. It's nice. I like that panel. Like how she's laying on the ground like that. Again, this is a little bit of wonky drawing of Ultron, but I know who it is. I know what's going on here. You know, there's a nice transition of panels showing movement. You know, you got your classic blasty hands. You know, you got an explosion here. You know, you got some debris. I mean, everything is fine. A mockingbird in there. Again, you know, color. I mean, obviously the colorists are pretty consistent. They try to color the characters consistently. You know, so if it's Giant Man or Goliath or whatever his name was, if you're gonna draw his costume in that orange, you know, it almost looks like. No, okay, that's orange. So if you're drawing him in that orange, you could put him down. Then you can highlight it here with the that lighter orange. You know, let me pull something up. I just want to show you guys and see if I can get it to go to the other. There it is. Okay, so I just opened up my Sketchbook Pro just to show you. So this is the palette that I use to do my comics, and up to here, these are custom. There's some custom variations, just going to change a few things and some blank ones. But right here, oh, you guys can't see it. Can you see this? Sorry, I got the wrong screen on my. Let me pull that back. I think you could see it. I just want to. There we go. Oh. Okay. I think you guys can see this. Pretty sure. I got to check because if I'm talking about this, what I had to do is I've got my Sketchbook Pro is over on the on my Wacom here, and I just pulled the tool over. Just I'm going to put it back on the other screen here, but here's the tool for my color. So starting with this yellow here, you know, if you really want to get technical, here's the RGBIV of the, so that's what that specifically, like I said, I have some of these sort of memorized. I need to go through and memorize all these numbers, and I just haven't yet. So I look them up every time, but you know, starting with that yellow, that lemon yellow, going into a little bit more yellow to a straight up opaque yellow. As you can see, it's pretty much there's no blue in it at all. I mean, just one speck of blue. So you know, you get the greens and stuff. You know, this is the flesh color that you use primarily for most Caucasian flesh. And I can prove that to you. Let me see if I can get this to go over. This might be a little more tricky. No, it's not letting me pull over the puck. I have some color pucks. So let me pull it over. I usually, when I draw, I hold a color puck up. Now, like I'll eyedrop a color and just match it up, make sure it's dead on. But these colors here, this whole gamut is completely modeled after after the Doc Martin color set that Marble used. You know, all the way up to this line here. Actually, it stops there at this brown. These are customs. It's just a white and a black. Actually, it's like a very dark blue, very dark red. But that's sorry, that's my my colors I use. So it's exact. I'll see if I can hold it up here. So I'm just going to go through. As you can see, that's an orange, and then that highlight there is the lighter orange. Yeah, just checking. It looks a little lighter down here, this orange, but it's the same orange. So yeah, so let me just put that back so it doesn't mess up my Sketchbook Pro. Okay, I'm assuming everybody saw that. Like I said, I can't put that on the screen and look at the my Logitech Brio software that captures my stuff. I can't see that you're seeing it, but I believe you saw it because it should be on screen. It's on display 1, and it was on display 1, so you should be able to see it. So, yeah, like I said, you know, Ultron fighting Silver Centurion Iron Man, that's pretty badass. So, as Vision, Scarlet Witch, the mid-level series, I might talk about that sometime too as well. So let me switch over. I'm going to show you a comic in particular I want to talk about, and it's the only one by this artist that I have. It's the last issue that I have in my collection. Like I said, I don't have all of the collection anymore, and it's number 43. And number 43 is significant because it's when Byrne takes over. I don't believe maybe he's on 42. Let me just check real quick. Or is he starting on an annual? See, that's what I can't remember. No, sorry. Okay, he starts with 42. And again, he's picking up after, I thought he started an annual. So he's picking up after Tom Morgan's art. And just his art, so he's Morgan's probably coloring his own work there. So he's not coming after Milgram, he's coming after Morgan. And it picks up with issue 42, which I do not have. I don't think. Let's see. I don't think I do. Got them all out of order. Got 41. That's that issue with. That's the issue with Mockingbird on the cover. So I'm missing 42. I thought I had it, but I guess I don't. So this is the first Byrne issue that I have. So I'm going to go to that one in particular and show you, just because it's got some, well, before that I wanted to show you the end of 42 here, because it's got a really nice drawing of Mockingbird. And of course, the artist in question I'm talking about is none other than John Byrne. So Byrne is probably one of my all-time favorite comic book artists. He wasn't always. Well, yeah, I guess he was. It wasn't my. Like I said, I was really gaga over Arthur Adams back in the day. But I liked Byrne because Byrne, at the time, he had She-Hulk in Fantastic Four, and so I really liked him. But Byrne is probably, I don't think he's my all-time favorite comic artist. I don't know. It's a toss-up. I'm gonna say I really like John Buscema, but I guess I like Byrne better just because me and him think eye to eye when it comes to the ladies. So, case in point on this cover or this splash page here is a final page here. So, he's I guess he probably is my favorite artist, a comic book artist. So like I said, this is the issue I have right here. So I'm gonna put that down and we'll go over the CBR here. So we got good Hawkeye. I don't know what's going on with his eyebrow here. Looks like he's got some issues there. But like a double page spread right off the bat. It's nice. I think he did have a tendency to draw the girls a little too thin. He didn't make them as shapely as I like them, but the faces are great. Everything else is great. Neck's a little long. It's a great Tigra. It's a great Scarlet Witch. That's an amazing Scarlet Witch, to tell you the truth. He's got Janet up there. It's great. Great Hawkeye as he's being held back here, and also good use of or good drawing of Wonder Man. Wonder Man's big, and not everybody. I don't think Milgram drew him to his height, but he's tall. So he's taller than Hank over here. Sorry, Hawkeye. There's Pym right there. So. Yeah, so Byrne takes over, and the book's awesome. If it was Byrne all the way through, that would have been beautiful, but obviously Byrne can't do every single title at the same time, which he kind of sort of did, but didn't. There's a little wonky mask here. Like I said, everybody's got kind of some screwy panels from here and there. Great use of that, great perspective, doing the... that sky shot and that ship. That's textbook Byrne right there. That should be the Quinjet, or the Mockingbird. Like I said, he really does Janet nice. The Scarlet Witch amazing. Some Moondragon, some Mantis. It's got Mantis looking nice there. And he's got that Byrne face that he does, and if you look at my art, it's got a certain, a lot of my faces look similar, even when I'm trying to make them look different. It's just my style. Again, just great textbook, perfect comic book pages. Great Mockingbird there. He gets a little action. He really draws those Buccaneer boots really, really flamboyantly, over the top. I like that. It just looks amazing. That door. Look at that door with all that brushwork there. To get the shininess of that door. That's just in the everything's just perfectly laid in there. It's just a bunch of gobbledygook and greebles, but it's done in such a precise fashion that it just looks amazing. And look at that shot. That's amazing. Bird's eye shot in a room with a nice perspective. He's even got some 3-point perspective going there. Some force perspective with them. That's masterfully done. Masterfully done. You know, I love the way he draws the cape, you know, blowing on her to kind of accent her figure inside the cape. That's awesome. You know, I love Scarlet Witch's hair. I love her. She's got like that, not, you know, a bunch of the curly like top area, and then it kind of flows down in the curls. I love that too. I love her hair. And what do we get here? Is this still burned? Written in pencil dramatically by Byrne. It covers a little. I mean, you get some Scarlet Witch right there, but it's just kind of a weird angle. It's pretty detailed. Yeah, it's definitely Byrne. I did a parody of around this time. Oh, it's not of this comic, but it's of some of these characters like Scarlet Witch and Mockingbird, and I put them in a very similar room, similar green, that minty green. But yeah, I don't know I can't remember how many issues Byrne did of West Coast Avengers, but he did a bunch, and they're great. Look at that. Look at that. It's awesome. Explosion looks very grandiose. Her cape's blowing. Get some Scarlet Witch back there. But yeah, and that hair again. Perfect. You know, even his kids look like... He's not great at drawing kids, little kids. They just look like little mini adults. That's a great pose. She's got her cape off. That looks nice. You know, Wonder Man looks great. Like I said, I'm not a huge Wonder Man fan. There's very T-2000-esque thing. I believe that's Vision. This one, Vision's white, isn't it? I haven't read these in a while. We smack Scarlet Witch. I think that's Vision. I can't remember. It's been a while since I gotta go back and read these again. Oh yeah, that's right. The U.S. agent shows up there. Yeah, I was finishing. You kidding? That's number 45. So he's also doing a play on I can't remember which issue it was of Avengers by John Buscema. He's kind of doing his play on that one. That's kind of neat. Still Byrne, story in pencils. Great, it's all great. Alright, I guess I'm not going to go because I could be here all the afternoon if... I'm not a big fan of that, though. I gotta say. I can't remember what was going... I think she was becoming more feral or more like a cat. That's great. That's great there. And that reminds me, there's an action figure of that Vision out for part of that those retro ones, and I don't have... I guess this is a good time to show her. I don't have... him. I don't really care to have him, but I'm gonna... I guess this is a good place to segue because I think I'm gonna go into the action figures now. So I have the Scarlet Witch, and she's amazing. That is a great figure. I mean, that's a perfect. I mean, you couldn't get any better than that. Although I did wish her hair was more like the other hair with the curls up top, but I'll take this one. You can tell it's got a black dark wash on it. I'm also not a huge fan when they do a lot of washes, but if you notice her face, it's really well done on this one. And I picked her up for, she was super cheap. Got her on Amazon. I think she was like $11. You know, apparently nobody wanted her. And it would have been nice if she had a cloth cape with wire. That would have been a lot better. We'd flip the cape up in the back. Yeah, she's nice. And she does have some action back there. Yeah, the face looks great. Like I said, the hair's fine. I would have liked a little bit, just a hair different. You know, the coloring, I think it's a little dark. I think the pink is a little dark. It could have been a little lighter. But that's fine. There might even be a wash on it. Maybe that darkened it up. Maybe not. I think there's a wash on the... Definitely a wash on the cape and the hair. But maybe not her body. So, and she stands... I mean, I've got her on a NECA stand. And she stands pretty good. Even though she's got... You know, cape makes them sometimes a little more unruly. But, like I said, that Dark Star I got, whoosh, I'm constantly trying to prop her up. She keeps falling over. But this is definitely one of my better figures, Scarlet Witch. So let me switch over into... sorry. Let me switch over into... I'm going to go to Amazon because it's an Amazon exclusive. So on Amazon here, we've got the Marvel Legends West Coast Avengers collection. Now, overall, I think it's fine. What I think they should have done, I mean, they renounced the Hawkeye figure. You know, it comes with this little cycle, this little sky cycle. Am I going to get that one? For $50, I don't think so. Sure, it'd be nice to get all of the West Coast Avengers, but I just want the ladies. But however, I really do like, Silver Century and Iron Man. So if anything, if I got these, which I'm still on the fence about, I just don't want to pay $125, and then it's $175 for most of them, and you're not even getting Wonder Man. Why did they do Pym? I just don't understand why Pym. Why didn't they do Wonder Man? Because then all you would have to do is pick up him, because he's, with the Sky Cycle, and you've got all of the, you've got them all of the original West Coast Avengers. And if you already have, Vision and Scarlet Witch, you're good to go. Now, I do like that they included, what's her face, Carpenter, Julie Carpenter, the Spider-Woman. Of course, at the time, I still don't think they knew her. Oh yeah, look at that. See, sorry, I just noticed here, we got the Scarlet Witch I have, it went back up to 19-something. Yeah, I got it super cheap. It's nice, so I try to keep my eye on a lot of the stuff, so when it goes super cheap, I usually try to pick it up if I really want it. But, so, there's a lot of things going on, and I probably mentioned this before with Legends really ticking me off. Yeah, there was I didn't pick her up because she just doesn't look right. That one looks a lot better. Here it is. I really want this Monica Rambeau. I know she's not part of the West Coast Avengers. I just want to point her out. I love this costume, and I love that character in that costume. And even though this Doctor Doom is technically the Secret Wars Doctor Doom, so you think I would want it, I'm not a huge Doctor Doom fan. He's cool, but I mean, for $50, I don't want to pay $50 just to get her. I really want that figure. And like I said, I just don't want to pay $50 for it. The other thing I'm weary of, too, is, like I said, that Dark Star. I know the Dark Star was an older figure, but I've heard stories of people complaining about modern Marvel Legends and the quality control. And I don't want to spend all this money on these figures if they're going to be shit figures and they're not going to stand and they're going to have loose joints and all this other issues. It's just, I don't want to do that. That's really going to tick me off more so than them grouping. Here's another set. I really want that Spider-Woman. I don't care to have this Skrull. Again, you're purposely doing this on purpose, to milk it. And it's just like, I don't like that practice, and it's turning me off from the company. So I really don't even know if I'm going to keep collecting Hasbro, let alone I might even just get out. Hasbro might have tainted me on collecting action figures as a whole. I might even just get out, just because Hasbro's pissed me off so many times that it's actually turning me against other companies that are, for the most part, are doing okay. But yeah, I mean, that's a nice set. I guess I would take the Pym, but again, I don't want him. And again, I got to pay $125 to get these figures, when really, it's $75 for the 3 girls. And I said I would the Silver Centurion, Iron Man, whatever, but. To me, that's $75, and I think the $25 a figure is too much now, too. I like to find these figures for like $11, $12, so I'm hoping that nobody likes the West Coast Avengers and they flop, just because not a lot of people even remember the comic. I'm hoping that it does so poorly. You know, this is crazy. It says this is how it's come to. It's like I want the figures to fail so bad that they peg worm, that they end up at Ollie's or end up on, you know, this is an Amazon exclusive, or Amazon's going to turn around, you know, maybe charge $50 for the whole set or $60 for the whole set. Then I'll probably bite, you know, because you're getting the figures at half off, you know, and even still, even it's, you know, if I get it for 60, 65, that's still cheaper than buying 3 of these figures by themselves. You know, I want them, but I don't want to spend them. I mean, I'm just, I sound like a broken record, but, you know, and the Hawkeye, I probably won't get him. You know, I don't mind. I mean, it's fine that they did it with him, with coming with the vehicle, because they don't have a lot of vehicles, and anytime he gives them a chance to do an easy vehicle, of course they're all motorcycles, or flying motorcycles, because they can't do any big vehicles. But, you know, I guess that's fine. And he does, it's very prominent in the comics, so, you know, it's a very, one of the things he always uses, so that's fine. I can live with that one. This set here, I don't want the Skrull. This set here, I don't want Doom. You know, and it's just like, they've got a Spider-Woman out for the retro line, for the Spider-Man retro line, and she's got the black costume. That makes no sense. I don't think she ever wore the black costume in the retro line. Why didn't they put the black costume in this one and put the regular, you know, Spider-Woman on a retro card or whatever, or even just a normal card or box? Even, I don't even care if it's a windowless box, you know? It's like this, I hate that. Can't stand it. Like I said, I'm going to end on a down note in this video of me bitching and complaining about Hasbro, but like I said, they're just totally ticking me off. So, all right, well, I guess that kind of wraps up my way. I just, you know, West Coast Avengers is, it is what it is. It's not super, like I said, I'm not getting into the story, and I haven't read a lot of these comics, and I have to read them again just to remember the story. I can't remember what happens in most of them, but I'm not going to, you know, spend a lot of time on this one. One episode's good. Like I said, I just wanted to mention it because I really like West Coast Avengers, and it was really integral part back when my comic book collecting. And of course, I won't pull it up again, but that Marvel Superheroes box set, you know, the advanced set, part of those character cards, they had all of the West Coast Avengers in that. You know, West Coast Avengers to me is like Alpha Flight. And again, another one Byrne worked on. It was one of those groups where I loved the comic, most of them, not all of them. Just like with these, I don't like all of them, but I like a lot of them. You know, I really liked some of those lesser-known teams. You know, this Tier 2 or even Tier 3 teams. You know, at that time. So, all right, I'm going to end this one 48 minutes, so almost went 50. Yeah, so, again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow for a video, but, is today? Yeah, I'm on 40. Yeah, this is episode 38. I think it might have been 37, but it's 38. Yeah, so I'm going to put her back with my other ladies over here. I've got I've got, I guess I can pull that around just real quick. Careful, sorry about the noise, but I've got, at the top row is the multiverse figures. That's that new Wonder Woman, and like the glue on her tiara. That's the Jim Lee Batgirl. I got the Jim Ballant Catwoman over there. There's Scarlet Witch, there's my Rogue, there's Zorana, one of my other favorite G.I. Joes from the Classified, there's Lady J, that's the boxed Lady J, that's not the carded retro. That's a, what do you call it, Super 7, Super 7 Chitara. She was, I didn't get her, I got her like 45 or something like that. It was kind of pricey for her, and she's okay. I'm not going to continue with the Thundercats. And of course there's that Dark Star, and luckily Dark Star's standing at the moment. She hasn't fallen over again, but I said I always keep my lady figures over here because most of the comics that I do are all feature the female superheroes. So I like to keep all the ladies on hand if I need to reach over and borrow one to look at, either get inspired or get look at some detail in costume or something. Not that I love every one of those costumes, but yeah. So like I said, I'm cherry picking my figures from now on, and with most of them, I'm just collecting. Especially the comic book ones, I'm just collecting the ladies, unless there's a cool dude that I really want. I know there's a Blue Beetle coming out by himself, is also an exclusive. I was considering getting him as part of the DC Multiverse. I should have got the Booster Gold set, but that's another comic I'm going to get to probably too, just like this one. I'm going to do the Justice League International, and then of course when I switch over to Justice League America. But all right, so tomorrow we don't know, but tomorrow we'll do something. And like I said, I usually I usually work in the morning on my comics. I usually work about 8 till about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then I take a break. By that time, I'm kind of burnt out. My hand's kind of dead, and I switch over and I just start blabbing, And usually I think of what I'm going to do while I'm drawing. So. Alright, so let's do that, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Alright, take care. Take it easy. Oh yeah, subscribe. Remember, subscribe. So, 3D. Jaws 3D. Actually, no, it's the Hunter Seeker from Dune. I don't think Dune was in 3D, but whatever. No, yeah, Hunter Seeker. There was some... I can't remember something. Oh no, it was Jaws 3D when he shoots the harpoon and it goes right into the camera. Okay, sorry. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye. Subscribe.